Look, if you're here, chances are things are not easy right now. You probably feel overwhelmed, cornered, like the ground itself is just giving way beneath you. We're not here for easy answers or feel-good nonsense. We're here to talk about the hard lines. We're going to walk through a way to think about this, a way to find your footing when your world feels like it's collapsing. Okay, let's get into it. Now, this isn't a motivational quote to put on your wall. This is the foundational truth for everything we're about to discuss. Seriously, think of it like gravity. It's a force that is acting on you right now, whether you believe in it or not. Getting your head around this, really getting it, that's the first solid step out of the chaos. Before we can even think about building, we have to be brutally honest about where we are. That feeling of being crushed, of the rules not making any sense, that deep sense that things are fundamentally unfair, that's not just in your head. That's a real perception of a real dynamic at play. So let's call it what it is. Does it feel like you're being backed into a corner? Like your only real options are to just comply, to give in, to accept things you know in your gut are wrong? That pressure, whether it's from people, from your job, from your circumstances, it can feel absolutely immense, and it's designed to make you feel powerless. And what about fairness? It can start to feel like a complete joke, right? Something we tell kids. You try to do the right thing, you play by the rules, and you still end up losing. It feels like the whole game is rigged, that it's not operating on fairness at all, but on something harder, colder. And you know what? That feeling is pointing you toward the truth. That feeling of unfairness is there because every single human system, your job, your family, all of it, organizes itself around power and strength. And pretending that isn't true, well, it doesn't make you a good person, it just makes you a target. It leaves you wide open to being used by people who do understand how the world really works. Okay, so that's the problem, and it's a real one. Now, we build the bridge to the solution. To get through this, we have to stop seeing the world as we wish it was and start seeing it as it is. And that means understanding the true nature of the force that's at play. It's time to redefine it. To move forward, we have to change how we see strength. We need to strip away all the moral judgments we've attached to the words strong and weak. Strength isn't good. It isn't bad. It is simply capacity. It's the capacity to endure pressure, the capacity to take action, and, this is a big one, the capacity to draw a line and make it stick. This is so fundamental. We often think that by denying power, we're being noble. We're not. We're just choosing to be blind. And saying strength itself is evil is a huge mistake. A hammer isn't evil. It depends on who's swinging it. When you can see strength as just a neutral force, you get clarity. You can finally see what's actually happening in a situation, without the fog of judgment. So, if strength is this real, neutral force, how do we deal with it? Well, the first principle is simple, but it's difficult. You have to respect it. Not resent it, not make fun of it, you have to respect it as a basic feature of reality, like a mountain or an ocean. So, what does that actually look like in practice? It means you start looking for what actually works. You identify who in the room really knows what they're doing. You're honest when someone has a capacity you don't. Yeah, sometimes. That means you have to step back. And most importantly, you learn from the people who prove they can actually handle the burden. This isn't about ego. It's a strategy for survival. This idea completely reframes the concept of hierarchy. I know, for a lot of us, hierarchy is a dirty word. We think it means oppression. But a functional, ethical hierarchy is about something completely different. It's about distributing the load. The strongest are supposed to carry the most weight so that the whole system, whether it's your family or your team, doesn't collapse and make everyone suffer. Now, respecting strength is only half of the equation. On its own, that's just a recipe for tyranny. The other side of the coin, the thing that makes this whole philosophy moral and stable, is the absolute requirement to protect what is actually vulnerable. And this distinction right here is absolutely critical if you want to understand how to use strength ethically. Weakness is a temporary state. You're in a crisis, you're sick, you're new at something. That state deserves protection. But fragility? Fragility is a choice. It's a refusal to face reality and grow up. It doesn't ask for protection, it demands to be exempt from responsibility. This framework protects weakness, not fragility. This is the ethical line in the sand. The entire reason for building strength is to stabilize your world and protect the people and things that matter to you. If power is ever used to exploit or harm those in a weaker position, it's not strength. It's a sign of internal rot. It's decay. It's a parasite feeding on the very thing it's supposed to be supporting. So we respect strength and we protect weakness. Now we get to the final and maybe the most important piece of the code, the internal line. The one thing that no matter how much pressure you're under, you do not allow to be crossed. Never bow does not mean being rigid or stupidly defiant. No, it's much more sophisticated than that. You can absolutely be flexible. You can change your tactics. You can even retreat to find a better position to fight from. But what you cannot do, ever, is kneel on the inside. You cannot surrender your core principles, not for pressure, not for convenience, not for anyone. This leads us to the difference between submission and alignment. Submission is when you comply, but you don't agree. You go along with it, but inside you're just filled with resentment, and that feeling will corrode you from the inside out. Alignment is totally different. It is a conscious, strategic choice to cooperate, but with your integrity and your self-respect completely intact. Submission is forbidden. Living this way, it's not easy. Holding this line has a cost. There's a reason so few people actually do it, and we have to be honest and clear-eyed about what that price really is. You will be passed over for promotions. People will not like you for refusing to just go along with the crowd. You will put yourself in positions that are less secure, and your life will absolutely become less convenient. Standing firm costs something real. If it was free, everybody would do it. So after all that, after all those losses, what do you possibly gain? What's the payoff? It's one thing. It's the one thing that once you lose it is almost impossible to get back. It's the thing that lets you look yourself in the mirror no matter what's happening on the outside. Self-respect. That is what this line protects. And this brings us to the final thought. The kind of person this philosophy creates isn't an aggressor. They're not a bully. They don't go looking for conflict. They seek to be immovable. A point of stability in the middle of chaos. A rock that other people can hold on to when the floodwaters are rising. So the question to leave you with is this. In the face of your crisis, what do you want to become? Aggressive, lashing out at the world, or immovable, standing your ground with your integrity intact? The choice is yours.